The next reporting area is one of the most widely used reporting areas in Google Analytics. It's the acquisition area. The acquisition area tells you the traffic channels that are sending people to your website, so you're able to understand your paid advertising, your social advertising, and all of the different activities that you undertake and drive traffic to your website as a result. So let's go into acquisition. So we're presented with our overview, all traffic, our Google Ads specific stuff, because remember we linked our Google Ads to our analytics so we can see Google Ads in there. We linked our search console so we can see organic stuff in there. There's a social report, and then there's a campaigns report for non-Google products like Facebook and Twitter, LinkedIn, where you can use a URL builder. Let's begin with the all traffic report. The overview is useful, but it gives less insight, so these reports tend to be better. We have 8 standard channels here. There are in fact more, but let's take a look. So taking the last week, we can sort by revenue, and we can see that a lot of the revenue is coming from a referral. So this is another website that sends traffic to your website, then organic search, then people typing in the URL directly, paid search, display, social, other traffic, which is traffic that Google can't necessarily categorize. It's just not sure. You can see there's only one visit, no transactions, no revenue. And then affiliates. What's missing here is email. That's broadly our all channels report. And we're able to just get more information about the number of conversions. So we can see that paid search, for example, has, outside of the referral channel, has the highest conversion rate. So if we send more paid search traffic, because it only accounts for 5% of all traffic, potentially we could drive more revenue because we have such a high conversion rate. That's something you might test. We also have other reports here like tree maps, source medium, and referrals. Tree maps isn't so important, but we'll take a quick look. It basically gives you a squared interface that shows, based on whatever metrics, primary and secondary, you want to use, how your channels compare. It's somewhat useful for sites that drive a lot of traffic, but more insights will be gained from your channels report, source medium, and referrals in this area. Let's take a quick look at source medium. Source medium gives you 2 key aspects of the traffic. The source, where it came from, in this case Google, and the medium is the type of traffic, so Google organic traffic. We have Google paid search, we have some partners that are affiliates, so it gives you the source, which is where the traffic came from, and the medium is the type of traffic. We also then have the referrals report, so we can see what third-party websites are sending traffic to us. If we sort by revenue, we can see a lot of traffic is coming from the mall.googleplex.com, which is another part of the Googleplex website. Ideally, you would use cross-domain traffic here and put in an exclusion for that, but for whatever reason, that isn't done. Then we also have some referrals from YouTube, Google Analytics, Twitter, Facebook. All of these reports give you insight into the type of websites that send traffic to you. We're also quite interested in, I'm just going to jump over Google Ads because we'll come back to that in detail at a later stage. Our social report, we're able to see what are the main social networks that are driving traffic to the site. So mainly YouTube, then we've got Facebook core, Twitter, Reddit, some Google groups, and some wiki stuff. It's quite a broad report. It will show you things like the relationship between your social impact and your landing pages, your conversions, and then the value of the social channels in terms of revenue. We can also look at things like network referrals, what our top landing pages are, conversions, plugins, and the user flow itself. So We can take a look at Search Console. So remember, we linked Search Console and we can see our top landing pages. So what are the top landing pages that are driving organic traffic? This page is driving a lot of visits, a lot of impressions, a fairly significant number of clicks, but absolutely no revenue. Let's look at the revenue. So understanding the data in comparison to each other allows you to drive the insights that you want. So the homepage doesn't seem to get a lot of impressions or clicks, but it is driving a lot of revenue. So that might be a referral back in. Then we've got our basket stuff, so people coming back into the basket. We've got accessories. We've got people who are usually, if there's no visits but there's revenue, that usually means that they visited the site before and they pressed the back button, or they typed the URL into their browser and it auto-populated. So that's what sometimes fills that in there. So that's the Search Console report. Again, you can see sometimes you can see some of the queries that people type into Google to get your website on organic search. So YouTube merchandise, and we can see what our clicks and impressions are for these. We don't get all the data, but we do get some of the data. Quite useful just for mining new keywords. What are people typing in and what's the average position? What is the click-through rate, the number of impressions and the number of clicks? Then the all campaigns report, we can see things like the promotional names and maybe some affiliate stuff that's driving traffic there. We can see our Facebook if we use the URL builder correctly, and we'll do a short demonstration on how to do the URL builder now in a moment. To track non-Google campaigns, in that campaigns report we need to go to the URL builder, where the URL for the URL builder is in your notes there. When on the URL builder, we simply enter our landing page. We have to enter a campaign source, which is where the traffic comes from. We then have to enter a medium, which is the type of traffic it is. Then our campaign name. And then if we want, we can enter a keyword. So if we were doing some Bing activity, we might enter some keyword stuff in here. And if we want to track different ads, we can add ad names in here. These aren't essential. Certainly campaign source, campaign medium and campaign name alongside URL would be required. Now you can see that it's created a special URL for us. This is an Urchin URL. That's what UTM means. It's from Urchin Tracking. So this URL has a question mark, which is a parameter, which means that everything after the question mark is tracking material. We have the source, which is Facebook, the medium, which is paid social, and the campaign, which is winter sale. A space is represented with %20. If you put this as your URL in your Facebook campaign, it can be read in Google Analytics. You can see the revenue that came from that campaign. You can see the interactions that came from that campaign and all of the different website actions that came from that Facebook campaign. Unfortunately, you can't see things like impressions or cost because that data isn't shared between Google and Facebook, and it's not shared on this type of URL. We can register the cost for Facebook in Facebook, and we can register what that campaign did in the campaigns report in Google Analytics. Using the URL builder is how you track non-Google campaigns in Google Analytics.